Josh Silverman from Constant Calibrating here at Charles Cox and 4GENCY. We are talking Habitat. He's the lead designer and head of the development studio. So, first off, Habitat, what is it?
Habitat is a strategic space survival game. The short and skinny is you build space stations out of space junk. Anything you can find, you cobble it together to make a working space station, and you strap rockets and weapons on it. You fly that whole station around and destroy other space stations and steal their stuff and put it on your habitat.
Okay, and is this single player, multiplayer? What are we looking at?
For now, it's a single player game for PC, Mac, and Linux.
Okay.
We've been at a number of conferences. The #1 request is multiplayer. Folks want to play this with their friends. We're hearing you loud and clear. It's just a question of resources, so we can guarantee single player, and we'll explore multiplayer if we can.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it sounds like, as someone who does Let's Play stuff, it sounds like a great idea for, for that kind of banter, for that kind of environment.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
I hope you guys actually can push in that direction. But okay, so why this idea? Why this cobbling together space station thing?
There's a couple of reasons. One, I'm a huge space game nut. I'm a big Kerbal fan. Love space engineers. FTL is a huge love of mine. I wanted to create a space game because my vision for space is pretty ramshackle, a little bit crazy, and I really wanted to explore the idea of what if you could build space stations and smash them together. What would that look like? How would that play?
Conceptually, I mean, it's a really interesting idea, and I've been looking at people playing this over here just a little bit. I need to get my own hands on it because it was one of those things when we saw who was at the exhibition hall, going through all the exhibitors. I saw Habitat. I'm like, shit, I have to get over there and see this game because just the visuals alone. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what it's reminding me of. Like somewhere between classic, almost Star Trek kind of things, mixed with a little bit of Spore, how we first saw Spore at least.
Exactly.
And it's just like it's this nice little hybrid science fiction-y kind of thing. So, did you ever consider a different kind of art style, or was this kind of where you were heading from the get-go?
I'm not an artist myself, and so I knew, as we talked about, sometimes you got to let things be in the control of the people you trust. I was very fortunate to find a fantastic creative director and a really, really good 2D and 3D artist who helped take what was, in my head, a design and idea vision. They created that view, that sort of iconic look to Habitat, and as soon as we saw it, we said, this is it. We're going with this.
Awesome.
The way this looks, make it look as much like that as you can. And it was, there's a sense of wit to it. There's a sense of humor to it. Things are a little larger than life. There's a real feeling of epic space right next to our home planet. Right, orbit is a place that not a lot of games have explored before.
No, it's not something you typically see, but I like with that cobbling together thing because we have so much debris, around Earth right now from satellites and just assorted other things that have happened, in space travel and space stuff over the last 100, almost 100 years.
Yeah,
not quite. That's 60.
It'll get there before you know it. And that actually is kind of the point. I said, why don't we take this one step further? Mm-hmm. What if there was a situation on Earth that was so bad, so screwed up, that we just put booster rockets on everything and fired that into space? We just got to get into space. We just got to get up there.
It's terrible. Everything. Gone.
Everything.
Go.
Just put as much up as you can. And then once we get up there, you figure it out. Put it all back together.
Well, it's great because a lot in science fiction, we see the motif of Earth is ruined, we have X number of time to get away, and yet somehow every place, every country, or whatever they do, has these perfect cruise ships and things like that. And you're like, bullshit.
Yeah, no way.
Maybe our society, overall Earth society right now, that's not happening.
Oh, no.
There's no likelihood.
Not even close. I think the reality that was going to happen would look a lot more like Habitat than it does the other game.
I would have to agree with you on that. It's cool.
And the other thing this lets us do is it lets us make the engineers in the game be the heroes.
That's
people who build these things who are so crazy that they go out into space and they weld stuff together and make livable habitats out of it. We've never had heroes like that.
See, that makes me happy. My wife has been working on a perspective novel thing, and her first thing she said is, I want to make engineers important.
Yes.
That I want to make it where we don't have like our society celebrities and stuff.
Yep.
Well, we don't have actors and stuff at the top. We don't have politicians up. The people who are at the top, the people who are revered almost, are the engineers, because they're helping you survive. They're building the things that are important.
Exactly. And personally, I come from an aerospace family.
Okay.
I've had airplane mechanics, flight instructors, engineers, Air Force, and Navy officers in my life, as my family. And so engineering is a big deal for us, and it's kind of where everything started.
It's
for
close
me.
to your heart.
It is close to my heart. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it was the Air and Space Museum in Washington D.C. that really got the idea to click on for me. Is just seeing that and being so close to our space history. I said, I have this idea. It's crazy, and we're going to go for it.
That's a great story. I just like that homegrown idea of where you're going to go with this game, with this story, with this idea. So when can people? Where can people? Well, you already mentioned PC, Linux, Mac.
Yeah.
Where and when?
So, good news on that front. July 8th, so just 4 days from today, the game will be available on Steam Early Access.
Okay.
On PC, Mac, and Linux. They're all working right now, and it'll be available in just 4 days. We're pricing it at $15, and we're going to give players the build, fly, fight experience, and we're going to start adding on features right away.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, I wholeheartedly recommend people check out this game. Just visually looking at it, I'm intrigued myself. And Charles, thank you very much for joining me and having a chat.
It was my pleasure.